Negative thoughts destroy us every single day. Sometimes we think about things in the future that haven't even happened yet and we sabotage ourselves. Sometimes we think about things in the past that already happened and we hope they don't happen again. So today I want to share with you 5 questions that you can use anytime negativity starts to creep in, and it can start to guide your mind. If you haven't tapped into the power of questions yet, I hope to put you on another level. There's a lot of things on the internet. There's a lot of posts, a lot of pages, a lot of information about affirmations and manifestation and journaling. And there's a lot of, self-help or developmental type things that you can do, but not a lot of people talk about questions and they don't understand it. I think a lot of those other things that I mentioned are good and useful, and I think there's a lot of misinformation about what's out there. Questions, though, questions are like a guidance system. Just ask yourself any number of questions. Or if I asked you a question like, how's your day going? Some people say, okay. Well, you may not be wanting to answer the questions that are asked of you. However, your brain is like a guidance system. So when it's asked a question, it can't help but to find an answer. It's like hearing something and you can't unhear it. It's in the brain. It's in your ears. It's in your mind. So the 5 questions are literally to guide your mind, to direct your mind. This comes from Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, one of the greatest public speakers of all time, a pioneer in the personal development industry, so on and so forth. He's done a number of things. But we're going to use the hypothetical situation of losing weight. It's very simple. It's easy to understand for a lot of people. So that's the hypothetical situation that we're going to run through. Question number 1. What's great about this? And if your brain goes, nothing's great about being overweight. Yeah, your brain may be shutting it off, or we need to add a second part of the question. So what's great about this? If your brain says nothing, what could be great about this? Ooh, what could be great about this? Okay, so you're overweight. What could be great is, I get to create a comeback story. I get to push my mind and my emotions and my body to a level that I've never been before. I get to create this whole new person. That may not be your answer, but that's just an example of an answer. So question number 2, what's not perfect yet? That's an important word at the end of that question. What's not perfect yet? So again, this hypothetical situation of being overweight, what's not perfect yet is that, okay, I'm a little bit excess on the LB side. I'm a little bit excess on the weight side. So what's not perfect yet is I haven't designed my body. I haven't designed my conditioning. I haven't designed my speed and agility the way I want it to be yet. But once you start to think about what's perfect yet, okay, man, I want to be a little bit more explosive. I want to be a little bit more like a sprinter instead of a long distance runner. And all of a sudden you get to design this person that you want to be physically. Question number 3, what am I willing to do to make it the way I want? What am I willing to do to make it the way I want? So if you're overweight, what am I willing to do to make it the way I want? What am I willing to do to lose the weight? What am I willing to do in terms of maybe I'm going to wake up early, maybe I'm going to stay up a little bit later, maybe I'm going to go to the gym after work, maybe I'm going to walk when I get a break during the day, maybe I'm going to go in my kitchen and eliminate all the junk food so I'm not even tempted by it. There's a number of things I could be willing to do to make it the way I want. But it also segues into question number 4, which I think is a great question. And it's a perfect compliment, because question number 3, what am I willing to do? Sometimes people say, oh man, I have such a busy schedule already. How am I going to add more things in? Well, question number 4 is, what am I willing to do no longer? What am I no longer willing to do? And that, my friend, opens up the opportunity for a lot of possibilities. What am I willing to no longer do? See, mentally, how much time and energy do we waste? This is something I'm working on myself, and just trying to buy back mental focus and mental energy by not focusing on things that drain my energy. If you had an emotional bank account or a focused bank account, every day it gets drained by nonsense. So this hypothetical situation of being overweight and trying to lose weight, what are you willing to no longer do? Well, you can save a lot of mental and emotional energy by not looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, oh man, I'm a piece of shit, I'm so fat, and making yourself sad and depressed. On the other side of the equation, that may be a little bit motivating for people to say, okay, man, I am fat and I am overweight. I'm never going to be like this again. So I need to go get going. I need to start working out. So, you know, pick and choose what you're willing to no longer do wisely. But question number 5 is, how can I do what's necessary to get the job done and enjoy the process? I like the second part of that question, and enjoy the process. So basically, what do you need to do? What do you need to do? What do you need to get done? And how can you enjoy the process? So many, you know, oh man, I could go on this forever, but so many people online talk about motivation. Motivation doesn't exist. Motivation comes and goes, so on and so forth. Those people don't understand motivation. They've never studied it. They just like the idea of, okay, motivation doesn't exist. Well, yeah, it does exist. That's why it's been studied for years and years. And, you know, there's tons of intelligent people that have studied motivation. It's just sometimes people put different language on what motivation is and isn't, so on and so forth. But anyways, when we push ourselves and we don't enjoy what we're doing, that can only last for so long. But when we push ourselves to do something, we start enjoying it, we start conditioning ourselves to enjoy it, then all of a sudden it changes the game. It's like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? When he was a kid, he would go to the gym and his dad wouldn't let him work out with him. And he heard the sound of clanking weights and he saw his dad working out and getting strong and so on and so forth. And he wanted to be like dad. He wanted to be just like him. And he grew this obsession. He wanted to work out. He wanted to get in the gym. He just wasn't allowed to. Remember when you were a kid and you couldn't get something and you wanted it even more? You wanted it even more. So The Rock wasn't able to go work out. Rock wasn't able to do what dad was doing. But when he got that opportunity, man, he went into the gym, and that's how his mind was conditioned to enjoy the process of working out. So maybe your enjoyment isn't conditioning yourself to enjoy what dad did, but there's tons of different ways that you can enjoy what you're doing. If you just create the right associations, if you just create the right connection to it. So, you know, there's tons of people that have done this. There's, David Goggins is one of the first ones that come to mind. He enjoys putting himself through hell. And I believe that's why he's known as the toughest man in the world. He enjoys putting himself through pain and misery and suffering. He enjoys it. He enjoys it. As much as it sucks, he enjoys it. So, 5 powerful questions to eliminate negative thinking. Use questions wisely. It's like it is a way to direct the brain. It's a way to direct your thinking into coming up with answers, coming up with solutions, changing your mental focus, changing your emotions, changing your state very quickly. So just a quick recap. I'm going to read these off for you. You wonder why I'm looking up here is because I have them posted up here so I can look at them. Number 1. What's great about this or could be great? Number 2, what's not perfect yet? Number 3, what am I willing to do to make it the way I want? I love that one. Number 4, this is my favorite one. What am I willing to do no longer to make it the way I want? I love that. Eliminate the shit. Number 5, how can I do what's necessary to get the job done and enjoy the process? Use those wisely. Use those correctly. You're going to see tremendous progress. Appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, drop down in the comments what you want to see next. We'll see you on the next one.